Okay, let me say something important. Every identity in this world is a space-time, and therefore every identity is actually a frequency. And you may say it is a real identity. Yes, in a way, it's a frequency. It occupies a certain space-time. But in a way, it is not real. Not real because these vibrational frequencies, they spring forth from a centrality. And as they vibrate, they nullify. They go back to zero. And then they expand again and split into two parts. And therefore, you're not sure whether it is actually real or not real. It is real because it occupies the space-time, but it's not real because it always nullifies and reforms and recreates back into space-time. Because we are just simply vibrational frequencies. We move from A to B and back to A. We move from A plus to A minus, and A minus back to A plus. So we're constantly changing, constantly moving, and we're wondering where we are. This is exactly how human beings feel. We're wondering where we are. You're not sure, really. You have a goal, but suddenly you go on to the other side, and suddenly you're back to the goal. There's a whole lot of so-called uncertainty in a way. But yet I discover that there is a certainty. A certainty provided you are aware of the centrality that is at the center of this vibrational frequency. Why do I say so? Because at the centrality, you are unit-spaced. At the centrality, from the darkness, springs forth the light observer. You're just where you are. But you see everywhere around you moving back and forth. But the I am, which is the centrality, is simply where I am is. But the fact is that many people, their mind is not at the centrality. They're kind of linked to the thoughts. They live at the level of the thoughts. So they move from up and down in a frequency, in a vibration. And they sway from here and there. And they're asking themselves, where am I? But actually, where am I is right where at the centrality is. But they couldn't get there. They couldn't get there because they are influenced by their thoughts. That's why I always suggested to my readers, to everyone in this world, that they should observe their thoughts. They are influenced by thoughts, but they should step back, withdraw, retreat, and observe their thoughts from the observer. In this way, they are at the centrality and at the same time watching the vibration. This is the best setup. You're not out of the world, you're in the world, but at the same time, you're out of the world. You're out of the world because you are at the centrality. You're in the world because you are in the vibration. You participate in the activities of the world because the world and you, as space-time, you participate in it. But yet, at the level of unit space, where you are central, that's where you are the king of your own kingdom. That is where I am. And watching the vibrations, you wouldn't be perturbed. If there are anti-forces that apparently appear from the other side, you wouldn't be perturbed because you know that the anti-force is part of the vibrational effect that is taking place in the field that is around me. So you wouldn't be afraid. Neither would you fight back. You won't fight back, because if you fight back, you're actually fighting against yourself, because this field that is all around you is actually both anti and for. It's an opposition as well as a proposal. You don't fight back. You generally just simply watch from the observer. You accept whatever that comes may. And why? And what happens after that? Yes, as you keep watching, you become the centrality, whereby at the centrality you decide, because at the centrality is I am. You may say that the centrality is God, I am, and the vibrationals that you feel that's all around you, anti and for, is man, the space-time. Because you are in full communication with God and man. In other words, I and my Father is one. And in other words, the world that I lived in is under my control as I decide. Isn't that wonderful? Some people have problems starting on this new way of living. What I'm suggesting is a new way of living. Okay, you have an anti-thought. You see from the other side. But instead of fighting back, you simply let the anti-thoughts move in your mind, and you are the observer. That's right. In other words, what's happening? You are giving full allowance to everybody to be as they are. But you, the observer, just watch. You not only watch others, but you also watch yourself. Whatever you're doing, whatever that you are reacting, is also an anti-thought. So you just keep watching your own thoughts. You remain the centrality. And as you do that, you are the controller of your life. You are the God controlling yourself, the man. You're both God and man. You are the Christ. You are the Messiah. The error of living is to think that there is a God out there, when in truth, God is where I am. The error of thinking is to think that you have a sin and that you need to repent to the God out there. But in truth, the sin, which is the sin of the man whom you are, but you're also the God of your life. Therefore, you need to forgive yourself and you need to repent to yourself. It's all about communicating with yourself. And when you realize that you're communicating with yourself, then beware. Because when you blame someone else, when you scold someone else, what are you doing? You're actually blaming yourself. You're also scolding yourself. And when you don't forgive another person's sin, what are you doing? You actually do not forgive your own sin. Remember, you're the God who must forgive. So if you don't forgive another, you are not forgiving yourself. And this is a state of unpeace that is going on through the world. Conflict arises continuously because you do not accept who you are in the first place. Notice the illusions in your life. Many a times you say to yourself, this world is not a peaceful place to live in. You go to a church and you say, oh my goodness, people are fighting in churches. You go to any other religion, you will also see a state of conflict. But there's no one else actually to blame. It is really yourself who has failed to forgive yourself. Because of that, you saw everybody fighting against themselves. The truth is that you got to return home, back to the centrality. You have to return to the I am that I am. Do the repair work right where I am. God must forgive me, the man, and the man must accept the forgiveness of God, who is within yourself as well. It has to be your work first before you can find peace in this world. So is this a beautiful world? Of course it is a beautiful world. It's a world where I find peace totally in myself. So the world is not beautiful because you make it not beautiful. Perfect. God has made this world beautiful. I have made this world beautiful by the very action that I do to forgive other people and forgive myself. So live the good life.